universe is in disagreement with Maxwell's equations, James Clerk M's masterpiece that describes how electromagnetism works, then so much the worse for Maxwell's equations. If it is found to be contradicted by observation, well, these experimentalists do bungle things sometimes. But if your theory is found to be against the second law of thermodynamics, I can give you no hope. There is nothing for it but to collapse in the deepest humiliation. Which raises the curtain for me. My sole purpose in life is to show that the second law of thermodynamics can indeed be broken. I enable heat to travel from a colder to a hotter place. Uncomfortably for a demon, I am able to reduce the level of disorder in the world. And if I can truly achieve this, it's not me, but every physicist since Victorian times who must collapse in the deepest humiliation. I am, as Churchill might have put it, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Whether anyone has been able to find the key to defeat me remains to be seen in the pages to come. But first we need to discover the young James Clerk Maxwell. At the risk of sounding like Frankenstein's monster, prepare to meet my creator. Chapter 1. Not a little uncouth in his manners. There was nothing to suggest the coming of a demon in James Clerk Maxwell's early life. We ought to get that convoluted name untangled, first of all. Over the years, those writing about him have never been sure what to call him. Some have resorted to Clerk Maxwell, or even an approach he would never have countenanced, the hyphenated Clerk Maxwell. But his name was not really double-barrelled, and Maxwell does the job far better. Maxwell's father was originally called John Clerk, pronounced to rhyme with Park. This family, existing on the boundary between the upper middle class and the aristocracy, had a complex history. One of Maxwell's distant ancestors, another John Clerk, had bought the vast lowland Scottish estate of Pennycook, and with it a baronetcy, back in 1646. Footnote. It's the demon here. I'll be handling the footnotes throughout the book. There is something decidedly demonic about footnotes. For those of you not familiar with the English system of titles, a baronet is the only hereditary title that does not make someone a lord. They're a knight. If buying one sounds a little cheesy, bear in mind the whole idea was dreamed up by James I as a fundraiser. His second grandson married an Agnes Maxwell, who brought with her the equally impressive state of Middleby. Over the years, and quite a lot of intermarrying of cousins, the name Clerk was always associated with Pennycook and Maxwell with Middleby, and when appropriately named cousins came together, they sometimes took the name Clerk Maxwell. By Maxwell's father's time, Middleby was only a shadow of its former self, a small 1,500-acre, 600-hectare holding, which is why their estate house ended up a good 30 miles from the town of Middleby itself. The rest of the estate was sold off to cover some risky speculation in mining and manufacturing by Maxwell's great-grandfather. John Clerk's older brother George was the principal heir, but part of John's inheritance was what was left of the Middleby estate. This was not an act of generosity on George Clerk's part. The estate was entailed such that Middleby and Pennycook could not be held together. Otherwise, he would likely have held on to the whole thing. Splitting estates was considered bad form. When John Clerk received this new position, he took the traditional laird's name, tacking Maxwell on after Clerk. Edinburgh and Glenlair. James Clerk Maxwell was born on the 13th of June 1831 at his parents' home, 14 India Street, Edinburgh, now, appropriately enough, the home of the James Clerk Maxwell Foundation. This was a 3-storey townhouse on a cobbled street set back from Queen Street, one of the 3 parallel roads that form the heart of the city. Maxwell was a late, and, in all probability, a spoiled child. His mother, Frances Kay, before marriage, had lost her first child Elizabeth as a baby. Frances was almost 40 when Maxwell turned up. Maxwell's father John had been a successful advocate, the Scottish equivalent of a barrister, but by the time Maxwell was 2, John Clerk Maxwell had settled into his new role of country landowner. The family left the Edinburgh house behind, still owning it, but renting it out throughout Maxwell's life. Middleby had no grand manor,